All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I could breathe. What a luxury. You guys have no idea what it's been like living in the fire zone. Not really in the fire zone, but definitely in the smoke zone. So Barry, that's another good question. The original trade plan is with Spotlight Power Trade, or the gold level, which has 3 setups. And the 3 setups, well, you'd think it was 4, but really it's 3, because the blue and the pink are the same. They're just one's long and one's short. So you got your blue and pink, which are all, have to do with the OSOB indicator. You've got your yellow trades off the 50. So the dark blue trade is diamond level stuff, and that's where you take the yellow trade and apply it to a faster line, in this case the 20 simple moving average, which we know is a really good pullback line. So it's an additional setup, and if you're going to use it, you want to go back to the drawing board and test it and make sure that it helps and doesn't hurt your results. Does that make sense? So I'm only showing it this. I think I put it on one day. We were talking about it and I never took it off, but the original tested trade plan doesn't include that setup. Now that setup is really good when the markets are trending and you're trying to catch subsequent action moves. Usually that's a setup that's going to work really well. If you think about it, if you don't have a stop and reversal, like let's say the price made its way down to a perfect target 2. Look over to the right and look where the price stabbed down to. The thing that messed up that setup was, of course, the stop and reverse, which was a break-even trade. But the original trade worked in concept perfectly. So these are things that you want to also pay attention to. Your stop is here. It triggers in. It never gets to the stop. It gets through the garbage price action until it breaks through and stabs down to a perfect target 2. I mean, look how perfect that is. But when you start combining other setups, you kind of change the flavor of the dish, right? It's like, what are you cooking here? If you're going to use a different setup, don't just put it on there just for the heck of it. You want to understand what it does and then how does it work. Like, all Spotlight are tools, and sometimes maybe using too many tools. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I mean, you have to test it. But in concept, the setup worked perfectly. What messed it up was the other trades that are combined with it. But even so, even if you used it, you have a small loss, stop and reverse, it breaks even, another trade that makes a little bit, and another trade that, reversal in the face of a trend is going to lose. It's trending down, the reversal doesn't work. So another thing I like to look at is when you've got a reversal trade and I like to get extra confirmation. So in the case like this is a different question and a different issue, but since we're looking at this chart, I want to point this out to you. When you see this setting up on the far right, like right there, and you look at those moving averages, they're all fanning apart from one another. Like momentum's down on all of them. And then you have a spike down and a move higher. Now, you might say, yeah, but okay, there's a breakthrough support and the markets are oversold. That long trade could work really well. It could. In this case, it didn't because the trend is still strong down. So one thing you can do is wait for it to come down and test the lows, and if it doesn't make a new low and comes back up again, get in sync and take that long trade. So that's a technique you could try. Sometimes you just get a strong trend and reversal trades are not going to work, and so asking for extra confirmation is a good idea. Yeah, but the thing is, Barry, is that Spotlight's really good at reversal trades, and a lot of times you'll get those V-shaped reversals, and those could be very strong moves, and you have to be willing to give that up. So if you're waiting for additional confirmation to come down and test the low and then move higher, that may not happen. And then you just miss a really strong V-shaped reversal. And in the case like this, where makes a new low, breaks through support here seemingly, fails, no follow through, and then pushes up with a pretty strong move, giving you that setup. All three lines are heading lower, fanning away from each other, indicating momentum that's lower.